hanging with me on TikTok, posting a lot more on YouTube these days as well. YouTube, what's going on? We got 3 people in there. Love it. If you're one of the 3, drop a comment. Let me know. Do I like Cam Ward? He will be number 1, but is he really that good? I think there's levels to the number 1 overall pick, obviously. Like I would take, and let me know if my audio is weird because I'm playing the draft right behind it. But I'd take Caleb Williams all day over Cam Ward. I'm not in the whole Cam Ward would have been QB7. I think that's hindsight's 2020. I think people would have been pushing for Cam Ward above Bo Nix. Everyone's acting like, hey, we always knew Bo Nix was going to be a stud. There was a lot of hesitancy with Bo Nix because he was older in college. We weren't sure if it was just a matter of him being with Will Stein, having success at Oregon. I think now we've seen him have success in the NFL, relatively speaking. So it's like, oh, yeah, of course. Bo Nix, for sure he was a first-round quarterback. For sure he was that high in the draft. I remember when he got drafted by the Broncos at 12 or 13 last year. I was like, yo, that feels early. It was the same way with JJ. I think Cam would have been in that conversation. I think Cam would have been in the Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy conversation from last year. What's up, Tot? Vic's on the batch party. Got the weekend to myself. Vincent, what's up, man? Brian, what up? Super Blake over on YouTube. Game time. Super Blake, who's your squad? Biggest sleeper this year. He's not really a sleeper, but I feel like everyone's dogging on him. I remember I've been on the Tatero McMillan bandwagon or train for a minute. I called his first spring game at Arizona, and I was like, yo, that dude's legit. I remember being like, hey, Arizona had the best receiving core in the Pac-12. When I said that 2 years ago. They had Jacob Cowing, who's on the Niners. They had McMillan. They had Dorian Singer, who's a really good college receiver. And then Washington had McMillan, who's on the Bucks. They had Rome Odunze. And I was like, no, Tatero McMillan's that good. So I feel like there's been flack about like him like not liking football all that much. But whoever gets Tatero McMillan's going to be they're getting a stud. Especially if he goes to a team that already has a receiver, put McMillan in the slot. That dude is big, man. I did a marketing camp. I flew out with I did something with Allstate and him back in the fall. That dude is big. Like there's receivers that can run fast and like smaller, lankier. Like McMillan is. There's a reason he was recruited as volleyball player. Like he's no joke. Brian Bob, it's a good point. Yeah, football guys hate when players don't eat, sleep, and breathe football. It's so true, and it's one of those things where like most guys, if we're being honest, are probably closer to Tatero McMillan than they are Peyton Manning with their film study. Like guys, I had a lot of teammates, a lot of really good teammates that the second they go home, they're not like watching football through and through. They're not watching NFL Network like us. They're not hanging out on YouTube or TikTok lives, you know? Let me resituate my phone. I'm hoping the Texans move up. The Texans feel like everyone's saying, hey, they're going to draft an offensive lineman, but I mean, I feel like they should, but it's always interesting when you have a young quarterback, like if they got in a mix with one of these, younger playmakers. Scattaboo, day 2, day 3 pick. It's too bad Scattaboo is in this running back class because this running back class is loaded. I think Scattaboo is a beast, but I think there's going to be a lot of teams in the 2nd and 3rd round that say, you know what? There's a huge batch of running backs. I'll see you in the 4th and 5th round, and we'll get the next guy. I saw a bunch of Omarion Hampton this year too. I called 3 of North Carolina's games. Mac Browne, who's a head coach that had Ricky Williams, Cedric Benson, some dudes, was putting Omarion Hampton in that category. I would take Genty all day over him. Someone asked a good question last live. As a reminder, I'm going live Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. This is an exception because it's draft day, and we're about to get into 10 minutes from now, first pick. But they brought up, hey, Travion Henderson or Omarion Hampton. That to me is a closer call. Okay, yes, I am streaming on YouTube. Go over there and check it out. We're on YouTube Live as well, posting a lot more YouTube videos these days. In fact, I posted a video about why Georgia players keep getting arrested. I don't know about you guys, but college football fans, I keep seeing that. I'm like, yo, why does this keep happening? Like, they're top 3 program in the country, yet they keep having dudes get arrested for speeding. Over 25 dudes the past 3 years. So I spoke with one of the beat writers over there, learned a bunch. Georgia's got a loop around campus that is conducive to speed racing. Didn't know that. Dove into that. Also had a cool conversation about the impacts of NIL and guys getting their hands on cars and faster cars and nicer cars to a different clip or a different degree than they were 5 years ago. So it's a fun, go on YouTube, just literally type in Max Browne, Georgia. I'm sure the video will come up. I've been waiting to Athens. I get it, to be honest. I've been to Athens. I get it, to be honest. Oh, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I played at USC and Pitt. Fun fact, I didn't even know the city of Pittsburgh, like, doesn't have left-hand turn lanes. They call it, like, a Pittsburgh left. I didn't know that as, like, a West Coast guy. It's how Ben Roethlisberger got hurt, for those of you guys that don't know. But my point is, like, if you're in a city like that, this speed racing situation, like, doesn't happen. I didn't own a car in college, let alone some of the Georgia guys, don't have licenses and they're getting sick-ass cars. Like, it's not a good combo. Cam Scatterbo to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are interesting, man. Anytime that you're on, like, a dynasty run, and I know they lost last year, feels like you're in a position where you can always draft, like, best available or take chances on guys because you have less question marks. Obviously, they need to figure out offensive line and left tackle situation. But Cam Scatterbo, I've made the argument, how sick would it be if Jalen Milroe slipped in this draft? The Chiefs are sitting there saying, man, that's a unique weapon. Yeah, we got our quarterback situated, but let's develop Jalen Milroe behind the scenes, create a package of about 12 plays for him, and have him be Taysom Hill on steroids. Got a lot of flack for that take, but I think that'd be maybe it's just a fantasy guy in me. Raquel Rosen, Seahawks prediction, man. Feels like another year where it's like, dude, did the Hawks get a QB? I think when push comes to shove, the Hawks don't get a QB. Where do the Hawks go, man? Why are the Hawks always in, like, no man's land? I have no idea what the Hawks are going to do. I'm sorry. I got no idea. Sanders, overrated or slept on in your opinion? I think he's slept on. I have him rated higher than other people do. I think he's in the grand scheme of first-round quarterbacks we've looked at, he's gotten more criticism than most. I love how tough he is in the pocket. I love that he throws with anticipation. I think for a lot of these teams up there, if it gets to the Saints, to me, it's a no-brainer. If it gets to the Steelers later on, you gotta take your shots at quarterbacks that have really good film. And I know, I saw the Orlovsky clip of, like, hey, throw out 75% of Shador's reps. I guess. But my take on that is, like, you could say that about every college quarterback. In fact, I kind of like the fact that Shador, and those of you guys that have been on a bunch of my lives, Shador and Kyle McCord are 2 quarterbacks in this draft. Cam Ward too, but it really jumps out to me with McCord and Shador, where every single game it was roll out the football. Good luck, buddy. Go win us the game. And if those guys didn't play at an elite level, their team doesn't win. Their team doesn't contend. That's a different kind of pressure that I think does translate to the next level. Shador has crazy instincts. He does. It's too bad he's not a notch more athletic, because I think those instincts would show through even more. Have you heard the issues teams are having with Abdul Carter's personality? I have not. That's news to me. Let me know what I'm missing there. Keegan, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging on YouTube. Please tell me you agree that Shador is not a round 1 guy. Hooker, Penix, Howell, Zappi were all better college players with better resumes that didn't go so high. I disagree with that. I do think Shador is a first-round guy. I'd be surprised if he falls out of the first round. I would take Shador over Hendon Hooker. I would not. I think Michael Penix would have been the first pick in this year's draft. I'm a big Michael Penix guy. People kind of sleep on his whole trajectory, I feel like. But I think Penix would have been the number 1. If Penix had the 2023 season and was in this draft, I think Penix goes number 1 overall. So I'm not with you there. Yeah, I'm not with you on Zappi or Howell. So, Keegan, thanks for hanging. Disagree with the comment. Disagree with the take. Anyone trade in for the late first? That to me is like the big question. A13. Sorry, I'm not Joe Burrow, but I know I look like him. Get it all the time. Wonder what a guy like Joe Burrow is doing right now on draft night. You think NFL players like watch the draft? Or are you like, screw this, it's another class? Like if you're like a 10-year vet, you think you probably have to, right? It's like your livelihood. You have to watch the draft. Here's is Aaron Rodgers watching the draft right now? That's a good question. What do we think? Is Aaron Rodgers watching the draft right now? Is he like tracking? Because he probably has like 2 or 3 dark horse teams that he like might be able to go to. Is he like locked in, or is he like playing golf and is like, yo, agent, text me when the Vikings pick, or text me when whoever picks. Lindsay Theory, shout out Lindsay Theory, the homie. If you guys are watching on another screen, Lindsay Theory was the beat writer at USC when I was there. She works her ass off, mother of 2, and now doing hits from New Orleans as the Saints correspondent. She, when I committed to SC, she was like the one calling me as like a high school senior, like, you know, doing a little article on me. Respect. She grinded. Love it. Love to see good people winning. Kyler said he is watching. Love that. Big year for Kyler Murray. Big year for Kyler Murray. Keegan's back there. He's a round 1 guy this year, yes, but in a normal QB class, he's not. Saints fan pray they don't take him. I respect the honesty, Keegan. Yeah, Saints fans are interested in where Shador lands. Obviously, Pittsburgh fans too. I will say, though, last year was not a normal class. And so I do think we have a little bit of like recency bias or recency comparison. Last year it was loaded. That's not the norm. I think this class is closer to the norm compared to last year. Last year was stacked. Last year we had was there 6 first-round quarterbacks? 5? It was 6. Like, that's crazy. Again, I think Michael Penix would be the number 1 pick taken in this year's draft. And last year, people were rolling over about how the fact that he went 8 overall. Check the receipts. I went right after and said that was a great pick by the Falcons. I was the only one, or I was in the 5% crew of being. Remember, 95% of people were like, "This is the dumbest pick ever. This is crazy." Man, in hindsight, the Falcons are glad they took Penix a year later. He was a baller. What about Bo Nix? I'll be honest, hand up, I wasn't as high on Bo Nix. I thought his success at Oregon was a lot of, hey, just great leader, been around college a bunch, great system, everything kind of fell into place. I was surprised how easily he transitioned to the NFL. I thought Penix was asked to make more difficult throws on a more consistent basis than Bo Nix was in college. That's why I liked Penix more. If in a position is a depleted class, don't fall in love with the front runner. They aren't that good. That'll be interesting. That's the story of the draft, right? Is like, hey, there's the 5 stars. And I thought Schefter's take was really good. For those of you guys that didn't hear it, like, there's been like no trades, which is weird. Usually when the draft's climbing up, like, there's some sort of trades for the top end. And I think, you know, and Schefter's point was like, it's because there's so few elite playmakers at the top of the draft that teams want to hold on to their 2nd and 3rd round picks, because the delta between pick 10 and pick 40 is not as wide as other drafts. And usually to move up when you have to trade, you're trading 2nd and 3rd and 4th round picks. But teams are like, yeah, I ain't going to do that. Maybe I'll do that to go get Travis Hunter. Maybe I'll go do that to get Abdul Carter, but I'm not going to do that to get up to the slot number 8, because pick 8 and pick 38, the delta between those guys is not as large as other classes. We got a good little pocket of people over there on TikTok. I go live every single Tuesday and Thursday at noon, both TikTok and YouTube. Today's different just because the draft's on, but go check me out over there. It's been fun doing this. Gives me content ideas, actually. Your guys' comments give me content ideas. Andy, how many first-round quarterbacks this year over on YouTube? Thanks, man, for the comment. I'll go 2. No, it was bad. I don't know. I forgot about my man Jackson Dart. I'm going 3. I'm not falling into the trap that we do every single year, where we get to this point where like, is Jackson Dart's QB3 really that good? Teams always stretch for quarterbacks. Only takes one team to fall in love with these guys. I think Jackson Dart has a lot of good film. Covered him when he was at USC. Called his game last year versus Wake Forest. With the good old Lane Kiff. I think it'll ultimately end up being 3. What a story. Cam Ward. It's crazy, dude. Who do you think the Cowboys take? Just watched Colin Coward's mock draft of Omari and Hampton to the Cowboys. I don't like that pick. I think Cowboys, you got to go more meat and potatoes. I'd go Banks if he falls later. Or fall. I'd go front 7, though. I'd go front 7. Super Blake. Agreed. Love it. Love it. Thank you. I think Cowboys go Hampton or Golden, but Genty if available, but Jags or Raiders take him. The problem with me is the Cowboys need a lot of help. And I do like that the football world is coming back around to the value of the running back position. I like that. But man, getting Hampton there when you can get another high quality back in the 2nd or 3rd round, it's been well documented by everyone how deep this class is. I just don't like the value of that pick, even if there's not necessarily another, big time playmaker up there. I still feel like I don't know. I don't like taking the RB if you're the Cowboys. I think it feeds into this narrative of like, we're trying to build a Super Bowl champion. You can do that when you have all the other pieces around it and then draft the running back, not draft the running back and have to figure out about all the other pieces. All we need is an RB. Again, I think you can get it later on in the draft. I think there's a lot of good guys there. But if Genty, let me be clear. Let me be clear with that take. If Genty's there, to me, some people have him on the same level. To me, Genty's better than Omari and Hampton. There's a noticeable gap there. Mel Kiper. I love me some Kiper. I know people like hate on him or whatever, like he ends up being a meme. His voice, his analysis fires me up. The haircut, the intensity. This dude trains for this day. This is his Super Bowl right here, right now. When he's sitting in his man cave on college football Saturdays in September or October, Mel Kiper is trained for this. He has his little pink tie. He's been thinking about his suit for 3 months. Probably not, but I think Mel Kiper has like a fashion woman or guy. Anyways, like this is his, hey, you get one day to pick your go-to fit. He's going gray suit, pink tie, ready to go. Louis Riddick's got the jacket on. There we go. There we go. I like Charlie Campbell of Walter Football. Dude is freaky accurate. I gotta check him out. Love it. Who else we got? Floxy. We need O-line. Jason Cho, what's up, man? Bucks winning the Super Bowl. The Bucks don't mess around when they draft. Bucks drafted a high clip. What do we got? We got a bike. We got Roger Goodell on a bike. The Packers tradition. Sorry if that's obvious and you guys heard me say that and like, Max, get on your stuff. What a time. 2025, Roger Goodell is riding in on a bike. Who is the other person? Who are all of these people? Mason Crosby. James Jones. Lil Wayne. What a time to be alive. Lil Wayne, Packers fan, and Roger Goodell riding bikes. Oh, he just dapped up that person. That's sweet. Those Jag fans are going to be pissed if they don't land with Genty. Lord Jimbo, good to see you, man. Good to see you again. Thanks for hanging out. I think it's great that I can talk. Love it, man, with heavy hitters around the country. That's what's fun about these lives, you know? Why do people boo Goodell? It's kind of dumb. Who's going first overall? It's Cam Ward. Can you imagine if it's not Cam Ward? That'd be so funny. That'd be so funny if it was not Cam Ward. It's just like, all the analysis and all the millions of dollars that went into draft prep was just dead wrong. To the 8 strong hanging on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. Let's see if we can pass a record. I think the most we've had the past couple weeks is like 17 people. Appreciate you. North Oakland Ghost Rider. Shout out Pitt. I'm assuming that's what it is. North Oakland. If they take Travis Hunter, that'd be amazing. That'd be so sick. So smart by the NFL to activate all these non-Super Bowl cities as draft communities. The NFL just gets it. That's why are we booing Goodell, man? The NFL is dialed, relatively speaking, in terms of like decisions like this. There's no one else they could realistically take. I mean, you're right. Like, I remember the Baker Mayfield draft where, 48 hours before it was like crazy talk, right? That he would even go number 1 overall. And sure enough, he did. So I think anytime. I thought he was about to announce a trade. I mean, there's outside, like there's a greater than 0% chance it's Shador. But no, it's going to be Cam Ward. Dude, they brought out all the greats, man. Clay Matthews. Who's your sleeper player in the first round? I don't know if I have a first round sleeper player. Talk about the depth of RBs, though. I'll go a niche one for you. He's a late round guy. LaQuint Allen, Syracuse running back. I think he's the perfect running back for new school football. Dude's an absolute baller. Absolute baller. And I saw a lot of ACC running backs, a lot of guys that are top the draft, or like relatively speaking, running back wise. He's a name that I always got my eye on. I am him. What a username. My last year in college was 2017. So the Bucky Irving of this year, yeah. And I think he's even more dynamic than Bucky Irving out of the backfield. Bucky might have been a notch quicker and he's more compact. LaQuint's almost like a little slot receiver vibe at running back. But I like that comp. In terms of positioning in the draft. QB rankings. I got Cam Ward, Shador Sanders. 3, I'm going Jackson Dart. 4, Quinn Ewers. 5, Kyle McCord. That's why it makes me nervous that Jalen Milroe is at this draft. And I think I haven't been like watching all the stuff today, but people were saying Jalen Milroe back into the first round. I ain't there. I think he has a lot of developing to do as a passer. I do think if you get into like round 3, I think there's a lot of value there because he is like a crazy good athlete, but I'm not there on Jalen Milroe, and makes me nervous that he could be sitting in the green room here. Could be something if he showed up, though. True. Yeah, literally. I don't know how that works. I haven't like looked at the reports in terms of like, was he committed 4 weeks ago or was he committed 4 days ago? It's a good point, though. But gosh, that makes me nervous. Kobe, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. Lord Jimbo, Jalen is the greatest slot receiver to ever play quarterback. I don't know about slot receiver, but I'm telling you, man, if quarterback doesn't work out for him in the next 3 years, this is going to sound like I'm hating on him, but like there's no reason he can't be Taysom Hill on steroids. And I've gotten pushback for that take of like, yo, Max, could he really run down on kickoff and make a tackle? All right, fair. I don't know if he's got special teams grit, but you're telling me Andy Reid, Sean McVay, Cliff Kingsbury, if you had Jalen Milroe on your roster, you couldn't put together a dynamic 12-play package to find value for him. Milroe there's dual threat, and then there's like explosive athletes. Milroe's in a different ball game. Is it 30 minutes between pick? So true. All right. See the call. Love the suit. Love the fit. Let's go white tee Cam Ward. Do we think that white tee is over or under $150? Jordy Nelson. Shout out Jordy Nelson. Yeah, Peyton did it with Taysom Hill. I guess, yeah, good point. Broncos. Little Jalen Milroe Broncos. That'd be wild. Cam Ward, man, what a story. Posted a TikTok, I guess YouTube Shorts too, for whatever platform you're on. Don't sleep on, or don't sleep's not the right word. The 2023 Pac-12 quarterback class could go down as the best conference quarterback class ever. You have what will end up being 2 number 1 overall picks, 6 first-round quarterbacks as the starting quarterbacks. The 7th guy was Cam Rising, who will go down as Utah's best quarterback ever. You had Dante Moore, who could be, if this season goes according to plan, he could be a first-round quarterback. So maybe 2 years from now, we're talking about 7 first-round quarterbacks in the class. You also had Noah Fafita, who he had a bad year last year, but it would not surprise me if he's one of the best quarterbacks in college football this year. That's the 8th guy. You had Cal's quarterback was the backup for the Panthers this year. What's his name? Jack. I'm blanking on his last name, but like he's making an NFL paycheck right now. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are not making an NFL paycheck. The 2023 Pac-12 quarterback class was absolutely loaded. Plummer, there you go. Fight on. Flock Nakua, fight on. Pac-12, shake my head. Don't be. Hopefully, shake my head as a RIP. Missing him. Boom. First overall out of pick, quarterback Max Browne. That was once the dream. Once the dream to walk across stage. Goodell, say your name. Didn't work out for me, though. Dude, I remember being a little guy, though, like nerding out over the draft. When it started on Saturday, waking up early. I remember the first draft, the guy that I always remember is like DeBrickashaw Ferguson. That was one of the first drafts that I listened to that I was like hyped on. And then also, no. Robert Gallery. I remember being a little kid, like scared of him when he walked across the stage and the Raiders drafted him. And I was like, yo, it's my dream. I want to get drafted one day. Didn't happen, though. Iowa, exactly. How random was that that reference? It was like Robert Gallery. They had like Terrence Newman. I remember was like doing flips. They had Roy Williams, the receiver from Texas that went to Detroit. It was like that draft. Maybe was it Carlos Rogers? This throw is sick. For those of you guys that are watching it, that throw is big time. The classic NFL comp, Patrick Mahomes. Yep. Wayne Kirby. Where'd you go to school, Wayne Kirby? Or where'd you coach? Remember playing against USC in 2016. We did have some dogs. I guess we technically won a Rose Bowl, but could have done more. That's cool, man. Cam Ward tearing up. That's cool. At least for glossy eyes. He's gearing up for it. Imagine that, dude. You have like no offers coming out of high school, and then 5 quick years later, you're the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. How sick would that be? And how much of a whirlwind would that be? Even if you were like a high school teammate at Cam Ward, and like, yeah, I got my high school QB, man. He's underrated. He's going to Incarnate Ward. He probably should go to something bigger. And then you fast forward, he's like, yo, he's the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Crazy. Played at Oregon my true freshman year. Remember going against Zach Banner. Zach Banner was the biggest teammate I ever played with. 6'9", 360, 350. I talked about that on one of my recent lives of when I threw an interception versus Alabama on that seam route up the hash. No excuses because I'm taller than a lot of quarterbacks. Wait, what am I saying? It wasn't an interception. I took a sack. I didn't throw the ball. That was part of the issue. But Zach Banner's big ass was right there, 6'9", 360. I couldn't see and I couldn't throw over him. ZB though, and I go way back, man. He's a Northwest guy. All right, picks in. Let's see what it is. We'll go with the Cameron Ward. Cameron Ward tipped the cap to the mother and the father. Getting the full name there. Wonder how that works. That's a little Matt Stafford, Matthew Stafford situation. Good for him, man. Good for him. 57 starts in college. It's a lot of ball. Major breaking news. Major breaking news. Browns traded. Jaguars going at 2. Second round, fourth round. What a haul. The Browns get a haul. They get a second round, a fourth round. They only move back 3 slots, and they get a first round next year. Who are the Jags going up to get? Did the Jags really give up all that for Ashton Jeanty? Or are they going – no, sorry. Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter? Sorry, just like all the chatter around Jeanty to the Jags. The Jags not messing around. Jags not messing around. Great – like – I don't care however this pick goes. The fact that the Browns only move back 3 slots and they get a second, a third, or was a second or fourth, and a first round next year. That first round could be valuable next year. You get out from Deshaun's contract too. Yeah, Maui. If Jeanty goes number 2 overall, be kind of savage, but it's got to be. I have no idea. I don't know. Who do we think is going to go right here? Do we think it's Travis Hunter, or do we think it's Abdul Carter, or do we think it's Ashton Jeanty? It's got to be. All right. I'd go Travis Hunter. I'd put my money with Travis Hunter. I feel like to give up that much, it's got to be like a one of one kind of guy. They're picking Hunter, pulling the trigger. D. Shiesty, what up? Jeanty, Matt 822K. I hope it's Jeanty. Be sick. It's got to be Hunter, though. I'm with you, Jimbo. I'm with you. Super interesting. Super interesting. That is a good content idea. I'm making a little note. Like, it's fascinating to me so what, was this trade done like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 3 hours ago, that then they just hold in their back pocket and then wait to announce? Because if you're the Jags, you're incentivized to wait because you don't want to bring in more competition. But if you're the Browns, and I'm the Browns GM, I'm not incentivized to wait in this trade outside of just building goodwill and good rapport and not being a sleaze bag known like to other GMs. But if I'm the Browns, I'd rather shop that offer around from the Jags. So it's always interesting to me, like it's announced right here in real time. No one had any idea. But like, when did the decision makers actually know it was going down? They still got Trayvon Walker. They're not picking Carter. I don't disagree with you, but that is one of the biggest things that I think is a draft mishap, or like I just disagree that with the mainstream on. If you have an elite defensive lineman, if you double down and get another elite defensive lineman, it makes your first defensive lineman that much better. And even if it doesn't make the first D lineman that much better, it makes your average defensive tackle all the more better. Like, you draft, if there's a gap and you think Abdul Carter is the next Micah Parsons, you take him, you move on, and you have the best pass rush the next 3 years. Or like, that's the mentality. But I just think like it would bother me when like the Ndamukong Suh or Aaron Donald days where it's like, oh, they're good at defensive tackle. Well, shit, if you drafted another elite defensive tackle and put him right next to Aaron Donald, that helps your weak side linebacker just as much as anyone, because the offensive line is so focused on, wow, we have an absolute 1-2 punch right in our face at the guard and center spot of, two in that case, defensive tackles. Like, especially D-line, I got no problem. The more the merrier. Even if you have a need at corner. If you have a need at corner, you draft a second pass rusher and your pass rush becomes an absolute problem, it makes that average corner a good corner. It makes that good corner a great corner. It makes that great corner an all-pro. I am not Joe Burrow. Sorry to disappoint. That's true. The Rams did that and it worked out. Yeah. And the Aaron Donald one, obviously he was aging. So like, it works out, but defensive line, you can just never have too many. Even receiver. If the gap is so wide, like if you think Tatero McMillan is an absolute baller and he is a full notch or two above like the next guy that you have, I don't care if you still have a receiver. I think it can change the whole complexion of your offense and help maybe an average quarterback, John Scott, what's your prediction? Flock C. It's a good point. It's a good point, Jimbo. It's a copycat league, and the Eagles just won with waves of D linemen. Very, very true. The old front office dap up when you get your guy. He's hyped. Who do we think who does that guy want? That guy's life just got so much more interesting. That dude showed up to the NFL draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and flew from Jacksonville, Florida, got his tank top and his shades and his gold chain, only for his team to trade up and have the most interesting move of the first round so far. That dude is getting his money's worth. But does that dude want Genty? Does that dude want Travis Hunter? Or does that dude want Abdul Carter? Is that Eric Armstead? It is.
While we are here tonight to celebrate the 32 young men entering the NFL, I'm honored to take a moment to recognize.
That's Eric Armstead. For the person that talked about Zach Banner before, how big he was. I remember we went up and played Oregon, and Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner was the biggest 1-2 combo from an opposing defensive line that I'd ever seen in person at the college level. There's a reason I think both those guys are still playing. Massive human beings.
We are proudly joined by the 2024 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Eric Armstead.
Jonathan, thanks for joining, man. He be on TikTok. I see him creating content every once in a while, I think, right? I think so. Yeah. See, Shades tank top guy's hyped. Ted, you like Abdul Carter here? It's gotta be Travis Hunter, right? It's gotta be. I love it. Who Kristen, glad I could help. Love it. It's been 23 minutes. We've got one pick in. It's tough. It's a tough look. I get they're trying to love up the Walter Payton thing, but here we go. Moment of truth. Drop the comment. Drop the facts. Who do you think they're taking? What's up, AJ? Boom. Travis Hunter. Yo, happy for him. The Florida connection, right? He's from Florida, right? Good for him. He's got to be stoked, man. He's got to be stoked. New head coach. I thought it would be more controversial during this draft season of like, hey, is he DB? Is he receiver? Is he 50-50? It feels like the consensus is, hey, DB with a package of receiver. And I feel like everyone's kind of accepted that. I'm intrigued to see, hey, does that actually end up being the case? Like, feels like a little bit like groupthink mentality, but he could easily be a receiver and then sprinkle in a DB. Be receiver and then sprinkle in on like heavy man packages. Good for him, man. When you get a guy who's a once in a decade kind of guy, or people overuse the term once in a lifetime or once in a generation kind of thing, but he's pretty much once in a generation. You trade up to go get your guy. You gave up a lot though. I don't mind it from the Jags, and I love it for the Browns. That's a good. It's a good move. The problem with, and I don't know if the telecast said this though, is so what? The Browns go back to 5, but there's only 3 playmate, like 3 elite dudes. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 like blue chip guys. So the difference between 4 and 5 could be substantial. Seawater 30, he's not once in a generation. Hey, I hate the term, like I said, but he is, dude. How many guys in my lifetime have been both ways, dynamic? He is once in a generation. Gosh, I love when they have the NFL film soundtrack. For those of you guys that have been watching the my wife's weekend highlights, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, click on my profile and go check it out. It's good. It's quality content. But this song they're playing right now is the song I've been using to the weekend highlights. You'll recognize it now that I said it. Good for Booger McFarland, man. I got a lot of respect for Booger McFarland because he got a lot of crap when he was the Monday Night Football guy. He got a lot of crap for like when he was sitting on the stand during Monday Night Football when they were trying that out. There's a lot of dudes that after all that pushback would not have a main seat on NFL Draft Night on ESPN. Booger just keeps, I don't know if it's reinventing himself is the right word, but just keeps rolling with the punches, and he's sharp. I think his nighttime college football recaps, he's solid. Not easy to do as a defensive lineman either, a former defensive lineman. This is where he's going to be. Travis Hunter's going to be corner. Max, do you think it's possible, realistic for him to play both ways every game in the league? Whew. So the NFL, there's less plays, which makes me think that he potentially could get away with it, or at least push the envelope in year 1. I think he will play both ways. I think he will play, like, defense will be when he subs out. And like I said, I like the more, hey, consistent receiver, monitor his snaps. Maybe he's like receiver 2 or receiver 3, like 12 personnel, he goes out. So when you have 2 tight ends in the game, that's when maybe Travis leaves and he gets his rest. There's going to be pushback on that of like, why would you take him number 2 if he's going to rest in 12 personnel? But that's an example of where he could rest, where it might not impact your offensive scheme that much. But heavy dose of DB consistently, and then sprinkling 15, 20 plays of receiver. That's what I would do. It feels like that's the consensus now too. Hunter could be a star at corner. I'm right with you. He could be Hall of Fame caliber corner versus at receiver. I don't think he's anything relative to the recent first round receivers we've seen over the past 4 or 5 years. I don't think Travis Hunter is anything special relative to those first round receivers. Don't get me wrong. Still a first round receiver, but relative to other first round corners, that dude's different. That's why I'd have him focus at corner. Lord Jimbo, no, he'll get hurt. I definitely don't think it's sustainable, like year in, year out, 10, 12-year career. There's just not that many plays, relatively speaking, in the NFL where I do think, the dude was playing 110 plays or whatever that was a game in college. I think there's ways where he could do it at a higher clip than people realize in the NFL. They're going defense. John, thanks for gifting. I don't really know the gift badge stuff works. I got to look that up, but I see you guys do it, and thank you for doing that. Jojo, thanks for joining. All right, Giants. What do we got, Giants? Good pick. After all the Giants talk, really the past, did they go Drake May last year? Did they go Shedeur this year? For like 2 months, it felt like we were penciling in Shedeur Sanders or Travis Hunter here. It ultimately ends up being Abdul Carter. It's a good pick. be very intrigued to see if the owner had any say in that, because the urgency for them to win right now is obviously paramount. But this to me is a pick of, hey, he's going to be on our team for the next 8 years. Head coach GM, you might not be our head coach GM in 8 months, but this is a long-term pick. I don't mind it. I got to go, Max. You have CTE, bro. Luckily, I do not have a documented concussion playing football. Thanks for hanging, though. Seawater 30. Jags trade is legit insane. For which side? The Jags or the Browns? Dude, the shades, the indoor shades, the dark shades. I get it's a look, but it's not in my wardrobe. First round next year. Jags trade is legit insane. That's yeah. My first reaction right away was Browns. Good on you. I think it's a good pick for the Browns. Genty Bears incoming. If Genty goes Bears, that'd be full circle. Full circle in the sense of, like, I feel like everyone was saying Bears in December, like January. That if it ended up actually being the Bears, that'd be funny. If you're hanging over there on TikTok, I've been posting a lot more YouTube videos. Check it out over there. I posted one today about why are so many Georgia football players getting arrested for speeding. I did a little investigative reporter deep dive. It's good stuff, man. I'm proud of those deliverables we're putting out. I think it's only a matter of time before they start popping more. It's good. My gauge for content is always like, hey, would I want to watch this? Like, is this like actually good? Would I sit down and invest 4 seconds, even 4 seconds, 40 seconds, 4 minutes, 14 minutes? Those the Georgia videos, solid. If you're a college football hardo, if you're not, then I get it. But yeah, that was horrible for the Drags. Traded next year's first to go up 3 spots. I don't disagree. Once I want to hear this interview.
It was surreal. I wouldn't be here without him. I'm just blessed. Thankful for my family. Thankful for everybody who helped me get to this moment. I can't wait to celebrate this moment with my family.
Boom.
You grew up in Philly. You grew up an Eagles fan. How are you going to bring the Giants?
You have a good combo of insider knowledge and willingness to go there. Thanks, Jimbo. I feel like that's what helps about this live platform, is it's easier to kind of go off onto stories and whatnot. But I appreciate that. KW, what's up? Yeah, if you're the Jags, like, gave up a ton, get a sweet, exciting player that's going to sell the most jerseys and get fans and seats and the whole deal. Got a new head coach, offensive-minded head coach, which then that makes me think, is he thinking about using Travis at receiver more than other teams would have used Travis at receiver? That was the big thing, right? Is they wanted I did a whole YouTube video on this back in January. It was a whole they sold the new head coach. I'm blanking on his name right now. My bad. But on, hey, he'd have an impact more so than maybe other head coaches on roster decisions. Well, Exhibit A right here. Kristen, Vic's not watching the draft. My wife is in Cabo right now on a bachelor party, getting after it. Bachelorette party. Bachelor party would be sus. Bachelorette party. A lot of Cowboys fans here. I don't like the running back pick for the Cowboys. I'd go elsewhere, because I just think there's quality backs, and it's a Cowboys team that, needs a lot of other help outside of just an RB. Liam Cohen, yeah, my bad. John, appreciate you. Schefter said they plan to give Travis a heavy dose at receiver while being full-time at corner. Yep. That's what I'm saying. People that we forget how many less plays there are in the NFL than college, where it's counterintuitive, because it's like, yo, you're going up against pros. It'd be harder to go both ways. but you actually might have more rest. So that's could work to your advantage. Adam, thanks for joining. Matt, thanks for joining. Watching draft, or I guess right now we're watching Carl's Jr. Biggie Bag. No, Wendy's Biggie Bag. I can't remember last time I went to Wendy's. It's been a minute. I wonder if they chip Abdul like they do Micah. Micah's overall stats have been down the last two. And Micah gets shipped a ton. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying earlier, you get a guy like Abdul Carter, even if the offense has to chip him, that is dictating. He is dictating how the offensive coordinator is calling plays. That's a huge that changes the complex of the game. And like I was saying earlier, if you have an average corner, or even if you say, let's say you have a bad corner, let's say you have a liability at corner. Well, when you have a guy like Micah Parsons, he makes a liability at corner just kind of average in a good way, leveled up, because the offense is not able to just pick on him all day long. Rory, what's up, man? Thanks for, or sorry, I shouldn't say man. I know both male and female Rorys. Either way, thank you for joining. I got to log off here, and I thought we were going to get more than freaking 3 picks in this draft, but I got to log off here in 9 minutes. Thoughts on Abdul? I think he's a stud. I think that was a great pick by the Giants. I think it was slotted in there. I think he's a baller. Will he be Micah Parsons level, or will he be just like a quality NFL pass rusher? Probably somewhere in between, I think. Exactly, Wayne. Exactly. You got to change the game plan off of it. Is Dart a legit QB? Definitely legit. See, franchise perennial Pro Bowl QB. I think he needs to get in the right situation for that. Oh, we're almost up there. We almost beat our view count record on YouTube over there. One second. Let's listen to Greeny. The Jags getting Travis Hunter while he does whatever dance that was in a bright pink suit. Good on him. Living the dream, man. Broden, what up? Michaela, what up? Why you leaving? I got something at 6. I don't know why I was being so sketchy. I've started I go to a like little stretch lab class. It's the most like LA thing I do. So you guys can give me crap for that. But I do it like once a month, and the person I work with only had the 6 p.m. So my bougie ass is going to a little stretch lab class at 6. Will Campbell. You know, I got to get that golf game right, you know? Got to get that mobility. Will Campbell, this dude's interesting. I think the whole arm length thing is justified. But I do think if you're making this pick, you're saying, hey, hopefully this dude's a tackle, and we don't have to think about our tackle spot forever. But worst case scenario, he'll pop in at the guard spot, and he'll be there for 8-10 years. Let's see this. A little arm length. What do you guys think is a more credible factor? Tackle arm length or quarterback hand size? Fernando, what's up, man? Dill Pickle, Eagles fan in the house. Can you stay for the next draft, please? Yeah, I mean, the next pick. I'll save the next pick. Then I probably gotta dip. Yeah, tackle arm length. I mean, it is hard to operate with shorter arms, but he's made it work. This is where it gets interesting. What does Cleveland do? Is Cleveland going to take the same guy they would have taken at 2 anyways? I mean, unless they're going Shador. This is where it gets interesting, though. Like, if you're not going Shador here, what you doing? Where do the Browns go? You ever pass rush against someone with long arms? I've never pass rushed in my life. I like McMillan over Golden as receiver 1. Big Taterone McMillan guy. I thought it was I started the live talking about this. I thought it was an overreaction to his whole film clip and like love for football and some of the headlines there. McMillan is a beast. and I think his skill set would fit in with any offense. I think he could be a big slot and beat up on like little nickel DBs, or I think he could be your outside lane guy, go win on comebacks and digs and all that. I think he can win on third down. I think he's a red zone threat. McMillan's a baller. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Love that. Sorry. Catching up on comments. Oh, 17. We need one more. We need one more to break this week's record. So hang on. Before I got to log off in 5 minutes. We got to get that 18th person to find me on the little For You page or whatever. Appreciate all. We lost it. Appreciate the. There we go. There we go. The YouTube dropping the 100s. James, good to see you again, man. Where is Shador going? I agree with Schefter. I'm not just copying his take. I think the Steelers, man, gets real interesting. Lewis Riddick, man, H2P. There's not a lot of Pitt analysts out there. Got two of them right here. We're close. Shout out the YouTube squad hanging out over there. We're close. Maybe we did get it and I missed it, but yeah, I got to log off soon. So remember, I got Tuesdays and Thursdays, noon Pacific, doing it indefinitely. Mark it down. Talk anything from football to content to life. Next Tuesday, it'll probably be an NFL draft reaction. This Thursday is different because of the NFL draft. Jackson, thanks for the follow, man. Yo, the hat game this year, solid. Solid hat game. That's sharp. It's not doing too much. It's got a little creativity. I have the in the back of my mind, I want to start a hat brand. I have the hardest time finding hats. I've literally ordered and returned 6 hats this month because I got this big ass forehead. So one, I only can wear high crown hats. I can't wear mid crown. I can't wear low crown. But I also hate the hat phase we're in of big letters. That's like, you know, like country club. You get like Riv, or you get like grit, and it's like a huge word that's like smack dab on the forehead. Well, if you don't like totally embody that one word, well, then I think the hat's like ridiculous. All the cool hats that I think are the more like subtle, but you still want it to mean something, but you don't want it to just be like a golf country club hat. Just know the wheels are turning for me. One of these days I want to start a hat brand. For all you small-headed folks though, I won't be your go-to. It'll be high crown hats. Can't go wrong with fedora that has your team logo. That's swaggy. My dad rocks the fedora. It's a quality look. Look at Goodell, man, rocking the white sneakers. Talk about fashion. Cutting edge. Roger Goodell. Who would have thought he were wearing white sneakers a decade ago? All right, who we got here? Mason Graham. I feel like the Browns are stoked on that pick. I think the Browns are fired the F up right now. They got Mason Graham, super productive, interior defensive lineman. You get a haul in picks. The Browns getting it done. I don't know what Mason Graham is showing on the inside of his jacket. Goes from Ann Arbor, Michigan to Cleveland, Ohio. Wayne Kirby, I can't even wear hats. Head's too big. Is it bigger than a size 8? I was just talking with my brother. My brother's got a size 8 New Era fitted hat. That's tough. That's tough. I'm more like 7 3/4. I'm only a snapback guy though. High crown snapbacks. Where's Shador going? I like the Steelers. Whether they stay put, whether they trade up, that's where I'm at. Depressed Pitt. Good to see you again. We're just talking. You just joined Depressed Pitt, and I just made my first Pitt reference. Watching Lewis Riddick and watching this guy. You got your 2 Pitt analysts. Kenny, pick it, baby. Sorry. TikTok's asking me to make sure I'm not a robot. One sec. Boom. Angry jellyfish. I have no idea. I'm not a soccer guy. I am not a soccer guy. Saints. You like Shador to the Saints? That'd be interesting. Little Kellen Moore. Fun fact. Then I gotta dip. Fun fact, because there's a good little crop of you guys here. When I was in high school, at one point before Brett Rippon broke it, deep into my senior year, I broke Kellen Moore's state record for most completions in the state of Washington, and Kellen Moore's record for the most yards in the state of Washington. It lasted for like a year before, like I said, Brett Rippon, who's still playing ball, broke it. But fun fact, anytime I see Kellen Moore, I remember being like a third grader watching him at Prosser High School in Washington, state championship game at Tacoma Dome. I'm always due for a Seattle Northwest little nugget. That was my first one of the live. Usually there's someone that brings it out beforehand. But that'd be good. I'd like Shador to the Saints. That'd be fun. Magnum, my guy. Good memories. All right, I got a dash. Sorry, we only got like 5 picks in this NFL draft. But hey, on Tuesday at noon, I will be live again on both platforms, posting a bunch of content in the coming days. I came out with a big Georgia video today. If you're a college football fan, you'll like that. I broke down all 7 of Cam Ward's interceptions and any thoughts or themes there. So Titans fans, look out for that. That's coming out Saturday. Got a bunch of good stuff in the pipeline. So thanks for hanging, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.